and a finger on his collar very, very quickly. Well, joining me from Wall Street, visiting London, Jason Trennert, CEO of Strategas, and you're a Wall Street broker and analyst. Jason, welcome to London. This is quite a big collapse in the crypto world, isn't it?
It is. I think it's the biggest one we've seen since really crypto came on the scene, and we don't quite know all of the ramifications of the crypto world at large, but it seems to be rather large, and it will be shocking to me if there is not regulation that comes out of this. As a result.
When I was at the crypto conference, actually, the reputable traders in crypto were all saying to me, we want regulation. Sure. We want a sensible level of market regulation, which hasn't perhaps yet happened. But here's the thing. We very often I sit here and criticize the other mainstream media for not talking about the cross-channel illegal trade, or whatever it is. I've been looking through the financial press, and I've been looking through the BBC and elsewhere. They've told me all about this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, a bit of a weirdo, but then in that world, it's kind of not
hard to believe he got money from private equity, but he did.
Well, he did, and of course he was bigged up in America as being, the new Warren Buffett. But how is it that I can read in all these articles about the fact that he slept on a mat on the floor in the office? I can read about the game he played on computers incessantly. Nowhere have I read that he gave $40 million to the Democrats. What's going on?
Now, I'm not sure. It might be because he gave $300,000 to Republicans and $40 million to Democrats. So perhaps the mainstream media thinks that means that he's playing both sides. But clearly, I think he is there's no question in my mind that in an odd way, cryptocurrency, or at least the people that are in charge of a lot of these cryptocurrency exchanges and firms, are part of big tech, if you will, which is very much siding with Democrats and
Facebook
and liberals.
There's massive donations.
It's not even close. The dollars are 95 to 1 when it comes to the employees of Facebook. Twitter, all the rest. It is extremely one-sided. Now, of course, people understand the game. I went to college in Washington, D.C., and when I was there many years ago, 35 years ago, it was a quaint town. Now it's one of the wealthiest cities in the United States. 9 of the 20 wealthiest counties in the entire United States surround Washington, D.C. And why is that? It's because every Fortune 500 company, every accountant, every consultant has an office there, because they understand that maneuvering the levers of Washington gives them huge opportunities for business.
The
lobbying, and we have a lobbying index in our shop that plays that.
It's massive.
That's massive.
But why do we not get the truth about this guy? Because he also said he might give up to $1 billion to the 2024 presidential campaign for the Democrats.
Well, listen, I think I would argue I was saying to my wife the other day, I'm amazed that Bill Clinton almost has no shame that he's on the same stage with Tony Blair, I might add.
Yes.
With Sam Bankman-Fried, a kid who's 30 years old, completely untested, and yet everyone, and they're sitting there, and Bill Clinton is sitting there in his tennis shoes and his suit, and he's taking this person seriously. And you're wondering, of all the things you could be doing with that power and that influence, you're spending your time largely with people that can line your pockets. It's sad, but predictable.
It's unbelievable. Well, it seems to me that if those people who put money with FTX lose that money, maybe the Democrats could give some money back.
But perhaps they can.
Perhaps they can. Now, I'm very interested, Jason. You know, as an analyst, a writer, broadcaster, you've written a paper, Some Perspectives on Fossil Fuels. The Green New Deal, which is being sold by Joe Biden as the future, and we have very similar things happening here with our net zero commitments, and Boris, when he was Prime Minister, all electric cars by the mid-2030s, etc. Wind energy, we're going to be the Saudi Arabia of wind. You don't think the Green New Deal is all it's cracked up to be, do you?
Not at all. I think it's partly because I was on an investment committee for one of the first foundations in the United States that went fossil fuel free. It was ironic, given the family that was funding that foundation. But as a middle class bloke, to me, I can't think of anything that's benefited mankind more than fossil fuels. I would say, in terms of standard of living, it would be hard to come up with anything. And I would say that's technological innovation as well. Fracking is technological innovation. Having said that, if you look at the materials that make up an electric vehicle, as an example, there is nothing green about them. They require an electric vehicle requires 4 times as much copper as an internal combustion engine vehicle. Requires more lithium, manganese, cobalt. If you look at the ways these things are mined, there is nothing green about them. The cars also are far heavier. The wear and tear on the roads, the wear and tear on just the public services are far greater. So for some reason, we've convinced ourselves, or a group of businessmen and businesswomen have convinced politicians that this is the way out, this is somehow greener. But as they say in the United States, it's only greener perhaps at the tailpipe. All of the things you have to do to produce this car.
There's a lot to think about. And a final thought, Jason, I was over in Arizona, New York and Arizona last week in broadcasting, and how is it that the richest, strongest, most technologically innovative, most powerful country in the world, it's now nearly a week since the midterms, we still don't know who the governor of Arizona is, we still don't know for certain who's got a majority in the House. What the hell is happening in American politics?
For some unknown reason, or perhaps it's known, I think liberals have convinced Americans that they were somehow being disenfranchised, and as a result, they changed the laws. And they changed the laws in a way, clearly, that benefited Democrats. And so while something that would very rarely happen in the past, which is to say not finding out what the results of an election would be before you went to bed, is happening on a regular basis. And of course, whether the results are accurate or not, it's increasing the level of suspicion on the entire system at a time in which we need more confidence in the system.
Honestly, I'm not saying it is corrupt, but it looks it.
Certainly, if you lose, it looks corrupt. That's and oftentimes the people who lose are Republicans when these recounts are made.
It's horrible. Jason Trennert, thank you for joining us.